Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 60, the big 60, I don't know if that is a milestone or not, but we are back here, we are over in the Hermit Hills area, ready to start recording another video. Now, before we begin in today's episode, I am going to let you guys know that this episode is going to be a bit of a mix and match one, okay? We're going to be mixing and matching, we're going to be changing things up a little bit, and we're going to be playing around with various different projects. So instead of working on a single thing, which is something that I've been doing quite a lot recently, for example, we worked on the bedroom solidly, then we worked on the Batman room, then we worked on the water room, we're not going to be working on a single thing. We're going to be working on plenty of things, trying to get everything up and running, back to how it used to be, for example, doing some mix and match redstone and things. So it should be fairly interesting. I know that some of you really enjoyed those sorts of episodes where I'm dotting around doing various projects. Some of you prefer the slightly more focused ones where I'm working on a single thing and I get everything done in the episode. But either way, should be good fun, okay? It should be interesting to watch. So if that doesn't sound like your thing, don't worry, because I'm sure you're still going to enjoy it. But anyway, before we begin in today's episode, I just want to mention something very, very quickly, and that is once again to do with my Twitter. I've sort of rolled out a new initiative when it comes to Twitter. I've sort of rolled out a new policy that I myself am personally following, and that is the fact that I'm trying my best to respond to around about 95% of all the tweets that are sent to me. So all the tweets that are sent to me, I'm trying my best to respond to them. Most of them are questions and things, which is something that I haven't been doing recently. But I am getting back to pretty much everyone, okay? I've been replying like nobody's business. I've done hundreds of tweets and replies recently, and I've been getting a really good response for it, having nice chats with all of the viewers and things. So if you do ever have a question or you just want to talk to me about things, then Twitter is definitely the place to go. I'll put a link to that one down in the description. Currently on around about 33,000 followers, and I wouldn't mind getting up towards 35,000. I think that would be cool, and I definitely think it's possible. So the first of many odd jobs that we're going to be doing in today's episode is actually an extremely well requested one. Basically, the bedroom. The bedroom has got all of the redstone and things, but the thing that activates it is just this singular, piddly little wooden pressure plate, which we always walk past. Whenever I walk into the bedroom, always go straight past it, and that renders pretty much all of this crazy redstone stuff, all of these block swappers that we have, the chandeliers, we have the drop down flooring and things, renders all of that useless. Alright, so we're going to be getting rid of this pressure plate here. We don't want it anymore, okay? I'm gonna throw that over there, because instead we are actually going to be replacing it with a tripwire, which works a lot better. It looks a lot cooler as well. I have to say, tripwires are something that I always forget about. I never particularly use them, and they're super useful in situations like this. So then I guess all we have to do is we just have to link these things up, which actually, come to think about it, should be pretty simple, because all of these are half slabs, which means that we should be able to just connect it up, doing a little bit of this. So I'll try my best to do this on camera. Hopefully that works. Excellent! Well, that job was a lot easier than I was expecting. There we go, so we've done all of that. We have got ourselves the full system up and running with the tripwire hooks. Perfect. Well, I never. That project was super duper simple. I was not expecting that in the slightest. I thought it was going to be a little bit more challenging than that. And it's often the other way around with redstone projects. You think something's going to be simple, and it turns out to be really hard. Very rarely the other way around. But that's happy days. That is all done now, so we can move on from that. Odd job number 2, though, might be a little bit more difficult. Just a tiny bit more difficult. I want to hook up a T flip-flop to this door right here, because at the minute it is a 3x3 lever-based door, but that means that we don't have an input on the inside. And that means that if I close this door and then I die and spawn in my bed over at the bedroom, I'm actually going to be locked in. Bit silly, isn't it? I didn't really think of that one. So that means that we're going to have to add a T flip-flop mechanism that allows us to open this thing from the inside, and also allows us to have it button operated, because let's face it, that looks a whole bunch better. I've got a skeleton in my redstone. What is going on here? I hope there's nothing else down here, actually. Come to think about it, because, I mean, we've got some fairly complex stuff. Yeah, we're looking good. So I'm just doing some of the final finishing touches on the redstone here, so we just need one last bit of redstone on top of this block, and that is the input. Now let's just hop out here, place our blocks up like this, and make sure that we get everything correct, because otherwise people are going to be going nuts in the comment section about me misplacing blocks. So there it is. Right, so the button is going to go on this block. If we hit it, Good. Okay, so the door has closed. Let's open it up using the same button and then head on inside. Now, I have got the other button over in this section here. If we just take a quick look at the redstone, you can see the redstone sort of snakes around like this and goes into this tiny little T flip-flop circuit that we have out the front here. But there is one slight problem. Tiny problem with this, and that is the fact that if we close the door, you can see all of the piston arms from the inside. Now, that doesn't really bother me too much. I'm not too fussed by that. Obviously, I'd prefer it if you didn't see the piston arms, but I'm not too fussed by that one. So, yeah, I'd say job done. We are getting these jobs done and nice and quickly. For the third odd job of today's episode, I know, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's going to be a bit of a mix and match one. We are finally going to be getting rid of all of this ugly cobblestone that I've got going through my base. This was to transport all of the sheep down into the sheep pen area, but obviously I haven't taken it down for a little while now. I can't imagine we're going to be transporting many more animals down here, so I think, fingers crossed, I should be good to take all of this out, because seriously, it is so ugly. I've grown used to it, and that's bad, so I want to get rid of it before it becomes the norm. And just like that, the base has returned to its former glory. I keep getting the strangest lag spikes. Seriously, I've got a GTX 980 graphics card. What is going on? Alright, this thing is meant to monster it. Generally speaking, with VSync turned off, I get 3,500 frames a second. How is it? How is it that a graphics card that powerful and a CPU as powerful as the one that I've got is still struggling to play Minecraft? I have no idea. Maybe my base is just getting too intense these days. I'm going to have to tone it down a little bit. But anyway, moving on from computer problems, because I don't want to think about them. Computers just drive me mad. I have got one more job to do. Now, this is a job that I've been thinking about. It's not really an odd job. It's actually like a mini project thing. We have got to do the bucket sorting for our new water room. Alright, this is the new water farm room. It's really cool. Super happy with how this build turns out, and it looks really good. I love the way that this room looks. These sort of blocks, okay, I've never really used hardened clay before in any of my builds. Super glad that I decided to use it for this area because I really like it. But that aside, we have got a lot of redstone to attend to here, okay? So we've got the item elevator that takes all the items up to the top. That seems to be working. But up at the top, we have got a system that doesn't seem to be functioning correctly. And that is simply because I have wired it up incorrectly, okay? The idea itself is flawed. So we're going to have to come up with a new solution to this problem. And it's going to be pretty tough, but I have a good idea for how I'm going to do it. In fact, I have an idea that I'm fairly certain is going to work. I really do hope it does, because it's the only idea that I've got. So hopefully this should all be up and running. So here is the plan. Here is the Grandmaster plan. I've done a little bit of work in the redstone testing world, so this should work. It should definitely work. If it doesn't work, then I'm just going to blame the servers, alright? Because what we will have is we will have items traveling along this hopper. They will then drop down into this chest. And then on top of all of these blocks, where you're going to have powered rails, on top of those powered rails, there are going to be minecart hoppers. So the minecart hoppers will travel underneath this double chest, picking up the items, and then dropping all of the buckets down into these systems, which of course will convert them into filled buckets and output them into the double chests. That's the idea. That is the idea. It works in the redstone testing world. There is absolutely no reason why it shouldn't work on Hermitcraft. So all I've got to do now is chuck in all the powered rails, and we should be golden. So here goes. Everything is in. Minecart hoppers have been placed. There is going to be a really annoying noise in this room, which is something that I hadn't thought of, but I guess that's something that I'm just going to put up with for the minute, because I think this is going to be a solution that actually ends up working. Now, I've got myself 16 buckets in my inventory. We will cover up this gap right here, and let's give it a go. Now, I know there are a bunch of water buckets in there, not a whole lot I can do about that, but we just want to see that all of the machines are working at once, okay? I'm actually nervous. I can feel it in my body that I'm probably nervous. So here goes. Buckets have gone in. We can hear item elevators activating. Now, it does take just a little while for the items to actually reach it. Yes! Yes! Oh, they're actually working. They're actually working. We're getting buckets by the bucket load. That was fast as well. Did you see how fast that was to do 16? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then that means there should be 8 in there. Right, good. Yes! Happy days, happy days, happy days. I have just fist pumped in the air because that means that that machine actually works. Oh, that is so good. Right, that is such a simple solution to that problem. I puzzled for ages about this in the previous episode. After I finished recording that episode, I was sat there thinking, don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. I can't think of a way to do it. And it was just as simple as using hopper mine carts. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm so glad that this works. We've now got ourselves a functional, super fast water farming room. That is wicked. So it turns out during that cut, I actually did just a little bit of maths wrong, and I ended up with 15 instead of 16. And I just took a look in the item elevator, and by the look of things, one of the buckets has actually got stuck in the item elevator itself. But I think, and as far as I know, this is what's going to happen. Next time around, a bucket will get stuck in the same location, but obviously there's already a bucket there, which means that we should, from this point forth, get 100% lossless. I hope that's the case, because otherwise I'm going to be really upset, because that means there's still a problem with this design. Probably do a few more tests in the future, but for the minute, definitely works for me. We have got ourselves a ton of water buckets. Don't actually have any water-based projects to do at the minute, but at some point, this machine here is going to get a lot of usage. The final odd job that needs to be done in today's episode is to do with the storage area. That is right, I am finally going to start chucking in some item frames here. As you guys might remember, for those of you who have been watching my Hermitcraft series for a little while, the great creeper accident of 2015. I was standing over here next to all of my chests, doing my thing, and then there was a boff. A serious boff. Okay, a creeper came along, exploded, just took out all of these chests, all of the item frames were completely wiped out, lost all my sorting and everything, and I just never got round to fixing it all up. So now it's become a bit of a disorganized mess, and I definitely want to fix all of that because it's starting to drive me a little bit mad. So first things first, I've actually got to head back to Hermit Hills, pick up a little bit more leather because we have run out of the stuff, and then we can begin sorting out this mess. Come on, please be a decent amount of leather. Please be a decent amount of leather. I never seem to end up getting large amounts of leather. Yeah, this definitely looks like it's going to be enough for my needs. Ah, that feels so much better. Everything is done. Look at that. Everything is sorted out. I don't think it's exactly the same as we had it originally, which is a little bit frustrating, I guess, because I'm fairly certain I sorted it a lot better than this. But in my mind, we're doing pretty good. So we have got all the wood objects. Then we have all the redstone bits over here. Then we have all the nether bits. Then we have the mob drops and things. Then the vegetation. Then the animal drops. Then the mesa and sand. And then obviously all of the precious bits as well. So it does make sense. All of the sorting makes sense. And I hopefully will be able to stick with this one because, you know, there should be no creepers dropping in here blowing things up. Just going to do a check around in case one just slide right in there. But I should be fine now. I should be fine, and we should be able to keep everything sorted in this area for the minute. Of course, we still have the massive sorting system that I actually need to do. I am planning on working at that at some point in the near future. I can't wait to get started on it because it needs to be done, but that is a big project that requires quite a lot of time. And as you guys know, I am sort of running low on time a little bit here. But anyway, for the second half of today's episode, what I thought we'd do is I thought we'd switch things up a bit. I've been receiving quite a lot of requests on Twitter and in the YouTube comment section to do a bit of a question and answer session. It's been absolutely ages since I've done one of those, so you guys have probably got plenty of questions. I actually asked for your questions on Twitter earlier, and I've been inundated with them. Seriously received hundreds upon hundreds of them, so I should be able to do a pretty decent job of answering a bunch of them. On the screen now should be some footage of me doing some form of mining or something interesting for you guys to watch while I answer all of these questions. Now, the first thing that I'm going to say here is that a large number of the questions that I got asked were to do with cars, which was absolutely lovely because it clearly shows the fact that you guys know that I'm heavily into cars. Cars are my passion, okay? I love cars. Cars are my thing. I could talk about cars all day long, but I've decided to limit the number of car questions down to only one. Okay, I'm only going to answer one question about cars, and that is this first one here. So, here it is. If money was no object, what would be your dream 10-car garage? Now, I actually took a little while to think about this one, because there's plenty of cars that I would really like in life, but I think I've managed to narrow it down. So here goes. First car would be a Koenigsegg 1.1, or because technically the Koenigsegg 1.1s have been sold out, maybe a Koenigsegg Agera RS. I was considering the Agera, but I don't really like the fact that that's only got one gear. I'd much prefer a traditional sequential gearbox. Think that would be a lot more fun. That being said, haven't driven either of them, so I suppose I can't really pass too much of a comment there. But Koenigsegg 1.1 or Agera RS. Second car would be a McLaren P1. Third one would probably be a LaFerrari. The fourth one would probably be a Pagani Huayra, simply because the interior of those cars is just mind-blowing, and they sound insane with all that turbo. It's just, beautiful, beautiful cars. And then we're going back down to earth now. We're going to be leaving the hypercars for some fairly regular cars. The Aston Martin Vanquish, simply because I think that's probably one of the best looking cars on the market right now. A Ferrari F12, because it's one of the last naturally aspirated Ferrari V12s. And then a McLaren 675 LT. Looks absolutely gorgeous and is incredibly quick. An Aston Martin Vantage V12, of course, because they sound insane and once again they look amazing. The Aston Martin GT12, because that's like a racing version of the Vantage, which is a beautiful car. And I've heard that driving a racing inspired car, bit like the GT12, just feels almost rude on the streets. It feels like you shouldn't be doing it, but you are. And that's an experience that I really would quite like. And then the Ferrari 458 Speciale, just because that's a bit of a beast, and once again, one of the last naturally aspirated Ferrari V8s. And finally, for the last car, I was struggling a bit here, but I'm stuck between the Porsche 918, which of course is extremely quick, probably the fastest car on the list apart from the Koenigsegg, or a Porsche GT2 RS, just because I've heard that the Porsches are brilliant to drive, and the GT2 RS is probably the ultimate 911. Or a C63 Black Series, simply because they sound insane and they also look pretty mental, or maybe an SLS Black Series. So that's that. That is my dream 10-car garage. Don't really know about the last car, but that should give you a rough idea. But anyway, moving on from cars now, because I'm sure I've bored most of you to death there. So, the next question is, what is your favourite Hermitcraft build? I'm sort of stuck on this one, because my favourite build in general, like general build that I've done, is my base. I'm so happy with how my base is at the minute, but that is pretty much an ongoing project. It is still expanding and I'm still working on it. So as far as Hermitcraft builds that I've actually done, I'm once again stuck between my hot air balloon and my Christmas machine. I really like the Christmas machine just because it's just such a bit of fun. It's such a bit of fun. It was a silly build and it was really cool to work on. But I also really like the hot air balloon because that was my start to the server and I have fond memories of that. It was like a fresh beginning and it's just a generally quite a cool build. Next question is, what are your post-YouTube plans? I've explained this quite a few times, but I'm actually going to university to study computer science at Nottingham University. So that's going to be exciting. So I guess my future plans for life in general are computer science related. Don't really know what sort of area I'm going to be going into just yet, but I know it's going to be in the computer sector, I guess you could say. Now the next question is home studio progress. How's the home studio going? Now I've actually posted about this on the Patreon page. I've basically brought up all of the options that I have because I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I'm stuck between two options here. Well, it is sort of three options, but I've written one of them off. One of the options is, of course, to go through with the home studio project, which is a good one. The other option is to move out entirely. Now, moving out is a lot more expensive, but it would potentially be a lot more fun, whereas the home studio is a little bit cheaper, but it would mean that I would still live at home and be able to just go out into the garden, into my little studio area with the soundproof and everything, and make videos. Now, I don't really have an answer to that question just yet. I haven't got an answer to that problem, but I'm working on it. I don't want to rush myself too much, but I am working on it, and at some point this year, preferably in the summer, it will probably be in the summer, I will do one of those two things. So I've got that to look forward to, and you guys have got that to look forward to as well. Next question is, are you going to be doing game mode 4? I plan on it, but sadly, due to the fact that I've got exams and things, I didn't feel like I could commit the extra time to do another series on top of what I'm already doing. So I thought I'd put that off for a while, but after my exams are finished, I might look into doing a Let's Play series on there, if you would actually like to see one. How long does it take to make the average Hermitcraft episode? Well, generally speaking, it used to, before my exams started, I would record for around about 6 to 7 hours, and then editing takes about an hour to do the actual edit itself, rendering takes about another hour and a half, and then uploading takes about another hour and a half. So if you add all of that together, it equals, what, about 10 hours or so, which isn't too bad. It's not ridiculous. It is quite a long time to spend on one video, but it's fun. It's not something that I really quantify. I don't think, oh, I've got to spend 10 hours recording a video. I think to myself, oh, I'm going to play some Minecraft, and then I just play it for a while. So yeah, I don't really see it as being a particularly long period of time, and hopefully when I go full-time YouTube, I'll be able to spend even more time on episodes, which should be quite exciting. Why do you not play modded Minecraft? Now that is a good question. It's something that I've been asked quite a few times over my time on YouTube. Short answer is that I don't enjoy modded as much as I enjoy vanilla, and that's going to confuse some of you because you're all like, oh, modded's an extension of vanilla, how can you not find that enjoyable? But for me, there's too much. There's too much going on. I like Minecraft because of its simplicity. I quite like Redstone because it's quite a basic system, and you have to work around a lot of problems with Redstone. For example, you can't have two wires running next to each other. There's a lot of limitations which are taken out by modded, and that almost removes the fun for me. It removes the problem-solving element. That being said, I am looking into the idea of coming back to modded. I've done a bit of modded in the past, and it wasn't too bad. So you never know. Once again, when I go full-time YouTube in the next couple of months, you might see a little bit of modded Minecraft popping up here and there. What do you do in your spare time? Once again, I'm a bit of a car man myself, so I really enjoy cars, so I go out driving quite a bit, or go look at cars, or go to car shows, or potentially in the future, I actually plan on going to do track days and things, but track days are so very expensive, especially getting track day insurance for someone that's only 19 years of age. So it's a bit of a struggle, but that is what I enjoy doing. On top of that, obviously the gym is a big part of my life. I love going to the gym. I find it just really relaxing, and it's great fun to go there. I've got a few people that I go to the gym with, and it's just a really nice social, and not only that, obviously you're working towards a healthier and better body, which is always a positive thing. So those are pretty much the two main things that I do outside of Minecraft and YouTube, that and going out for food, socializing, all the regular stuff. So that's pretty much it really. I don't leave a particularly interesting life, but you know, that's how it goes. How old are you? I sort of just answered that, but I am 19 years of age. So that's that. That is it. That is all the questions that I want to answer there. I hope that you found that somewhat interesting. I plan on doing a few more of these Q&A sessions whenever I feel it's necessary, because I know that some of you guys want to know a little bit more about me and what I do in general. So hopefully you find that somewhat interesting. And that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.